Hello Lana.
Hi.
How are you?
Comment
I'm
vas-tu?
good, thank you.
First question.
Première question. Dans Kind Out of Luck, tu chantes I Was Born Bad. Tu étais une adolescente difficile?
I was a sort of difficult kid. I think I thought I was a grown-up when I was very young, but yeah, I wasn't that bad.
Chez tes parents, vous écoutiez beaucoup de musique? Et quel style?
When I was little, we sang a lot when I was young, but it was mostly like with my grandma playing her music to us. And then when I got into high school, I started to find cool music. And then it really wasn't until I got into college that I found music that I really loved, like Frank Sinatra and Bob Dylan, Nirvana, the people that inspired me musically.
Tu as fait partie d'une chorale.
In a choir, yeah.
C'est ce qui t'a donné envie de chanter?
No, I think I sang in the choir because I liked to sing. And I just knew, I don't know, it was just one. I also sang in school and sang anywhere I could when I was little. So just wherever I could.
Ensuite, tu as participé à des open mic à New York. Pourquoi?
When or why?
Why?
Well, I planned to go to New York to just start singing, really. And I didn't really know how to start, so I just typed into the computer, how do you start singing? And it came up with open mic nights. And so I just brought my guitar down to Brooklyn and started singing there.
Tu as signé ton premier deal avec 5 Points Records. Comment est-ce arrivé?
After I did a couple of open mic nights, I entered a songwriting competition in Brooklyn. And I didn't win, but one of the judges on the panel was named Van Wilson, and he was an A&R man for that independent record label. And so he brought me to the label and introduced me to everyone, and I didn't sign with them until about 10 months later. Well, that's how that happened.
Le premier producteur avec lequel tu as travaillé, c'est Richard Kane, connu pour son travail avec The Strokes ou Paul McCartney. Ça t'a ouvert les yeux pour la suite?
Well, I think I thought things were going to sort of go, I think I thought that things were going to get easier from there because I was working with David and we really liked each other. And he really understood the kind of music that I wanted to make. But after we finished the record, which took a long time, it was shelved by my label for 2.5 years. So it put a stop on what I was sort of planning to do, the way that I was planning to progress. So, yeah.
C'est cette mauvaise expérience qui t'a donné envie de changer de nom? Lisa Grant est devenue Lana Del Rey?
No, because I released that record under Lana Del Rey.
J'étais pas sûr parce que les deux noms figurent sur la pochette.
Yeah. No, I think when I started singing and then started to make my videos, I always knew that I considered what I was doing to be an art project, and I just wanted a name that was as beautiful as I hoped the music I would make would become. And I just thought it sounded pretty coming off the tip of the tongue. And, it had been...
And Lana Del Rey sound...
Et Lana Del Rey, ça sonne un peu comme Elvis Presley, non?
Do you think so?
Yes,
Ah, il y a des similitudes.
Sorry, Elvis Presley, maybe.
About that,
À ce sujet-là, j'ai un petit cadeau pour toi.
Yes.
You got me a present.
You can slide it.
Oh, that's so cool. This is my favorite Elvis song.
D'où ma prochaine question. Pour toi, Elvis est le symbole de la perfection?
No, I don't think so. But The first time I saw him, I was like very struck by him. I thought he was very otherworldly. But I mean, I think the first thing I thought about him was just that he was so beautiful. Yes. And then the second thing was just that I loved his voice, and I couldn't believe anyone could sing like that. But I don't know about a model of perfection.
Quand as-tu composé cette chanson Video Games?
I think about 11 months ago now. Yeah.
Comment t'est venue l'idée de faire tes propres vidéos, très do it yourself, et d'y apposer ta marque de fabrique?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, it sort of became inadvertently my little trademark, but it wasn't really something I planned on using as making my thing. Like, you know, I always hoped that I would have help sort of creating the visual part of what I was doing. But when I was younger, it was just really difficult to find the right people to get on board and who had the same ideas and inspirations as I did visually. So, you know, 3 weeks ago, I made my first video with like a proper director, Yoan Lemoyne, and I wrote the treatment and he adapted it, and you know, we had a big team working with us, and that was what I always wanted. Yeah. I always wanted to have help, so I think that video for Born to Die is the best thing I've ever done. But when I started making videos when I was 17 and just putting them up on YouTube, and initially I was just putting together clips of things I thought were beautiful and setting them to classical music. And then I eventually started setting them to my music. And then I eventually started splicing myself in.
Le succès de cette chanson est incroyable. Elle dure 5 minutes. C'est un des hits les plus longs, je crois, non?
Oh.
It's pretty rare.
It is rare. Well, I think, you know, you get to a point when you've been writing for a really long time, you end up very much just writing for yourself and writing what you want to hear. And so to me, it wasn't a problem that it was a long song. Well, we didn't expect it to go to radio or television or anything like that. So it's nice for someone like me because it also happens to be one of my favorite songs.
C'est une super chanson.
Thank you.
Est-il vrai que cette chanson t'a été inspirée par une déchirure amoureuse avec un bad boy?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, it was more inspired, like, usually when I sit down to write, I start to think about the way things used to be. Just because the only thing we have to reflect upon are our memories. So I usually think about the best of the past. I know it has sort of a sad tone in the song, but when I was writing it, I was actually thinking about what a nice time it was. Because things were pretty simple, and he had a nice job. He'd come home, he'd watch video games, and I'd sit there and I'd write my songs. It was a nice time for me when I wasn't struggling, and I was like very much at peace with myself and didn't have, you know, I had already done everything I wanted to do, so I liked it.
Okay, let's talk about.
Parlons de l'album maintenant. Pourquoi ce titre?
Well, I didn't know what the title was going to be, and then it kind of emerged from my favorite track called Born to Die. And so, like, slowly it became a good title for the entire album because the song, just the energy of the song embodies, like, the message I kind of felt was right for the entire album. And especially after I made the video, I was really sure that it was the perfect direction to go in completely. But it's not really as like sad as it sounds. It's more just about, I don't know, even in the midst of knowing you're mortal, just finding happiness in true love, little moments and things like that.
There is also a French touch in the
Il y a aussi un peu de France dans cet album, car Yoan Lemoyne a fait le clip de Born to Die.
Born to Die.
Pourquoi lui?
Who, Johan?
Yeah.
Why Johan?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, France was a place that was sort of on my mind in terms of being inspirational. It was just somewhere that seemed romantic to me and that I always wanted to go to, so I wanted a French director. And also, he reached out to me first, and when I heard his music, I really resonated with it. Like, I felt like we were cut from the same cloth. Like, I could tell we had the same inspirations, and we both wanted to keep a lot of integrity with, like, the music and the art we made, except he's actually good at making videos. So he was just he was the right person right away. I knew that, and everyone I suggested it to really felt really strongly about him.